If there's one thing that keeps me from having a girlfriend for longer than 6 months, it's most likely my disgusting adoration for fun and unique marketing. Even if a company is marketing something completely stupid and I want absolutely nothing to do with it, I find it fun to judge it based on how much it sticks with you as the consumer. You can have excellent cool marketing for a piece of trash, garbage marketing for something cool, or you can have garbage marketing for something that's also garbage. Video games as a medium are prime contenders for fun and unique marketing campaigns, as unlike something like a movie or TV show, it's easier to convey just exactly what your game is about by showing something that just might resemble what it is, rather than flat out showing what it is. I don't understand what this is. This kind of marketing was especially prevalent in the 80s all the way to the early 2010s, but nowadays this trend has pretty much been eradicated from our culture. Not only can companies save a ton of money by just showing generic gameplay montages set to terrible music, but they can also better illustrate what their games are about because you don't really need to use your imagination anymore, unlike with something like an Atari game, for instance. So today we're going to be looking back at some video game commercials spanning from all eras of their prime, but I'll most likely be leaning towards terrible because that's just funny to point and laugh at. I'm not a critic, I'm a fool. Do you ever end up looking in your dad's dirty sock drawer, finding a greasy, somewhat sticky magazine with a voluptuous woman on it, and you flip through a few pages saying, "Wow, nice graphics!" Because that wasn't a magazine, that's a photo book of your mom, you stupid freak. Pretty sure most of you in my audience have seen this commercial once on YouTube or from the Angry Video Game Nerd, and who could blame you? Me. I could blame you. But man, this garbage fire F-tier rap has been stuck in my head for years.
It's the legend of Zelda and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad. Octoroks, Tektites, levers too. But with your help, our hero pulls through.
Does it explain anything about the game it's advertising? God, no. But I guess that's passable considering that this is probably the first video game related commercial to release past the video game crash of '83. And what kind of commercials did we have even before that?
I'll blow this town to smithereens! Time bomb! Try to get up there in time, Spider-Man!
God is dead. Hey, you know what? This is not too bad. It certainly made an Atari game look actually pretty exciting and action-packed. And you gotta appreciate the effort that went into these costumes and the set design. I think that they could have taken all of this and turned it into a full live-action show if they wanted to. But unfortunately, nobody had time to do that back then because they were too busy playing asteroids. On the exact opposite side of the spectrum, here's a commercial focusing on ice hockey for the Atari 2600.
Do you have ice hockey by Activision?
Think you're ready for it? One of the roughest video games around for your Atari game system? Checking? Furious stick checking? Ruthless tripping?
You know, I gotta say, this is probably the first time that anybody ever has gotten a semblance of excitement out of an Atari game.
Ice hockey!
Oh my god!
Hey! Yes? You look like a real jerk!
Moving on. In terms of great ads, I think that Nintendo was on their A game during the 2000s. All of the GameCube ads are excellent and their weirdness doesn't overstay its welcome. They actively relate whatever they're showing to the game that they're advertising. See, gaming industry? Not everything you touch has to turn into a terrible Geico commercial. You can have a really big dingus scooch over to get down on a goth chick, but her necklace transports him into a cubicle nightmare realm where Luigi's Mansion is the only form of entertainment. You know what, that actually does sound like a terrible car insurance commercial now that I think about it. Another excellent example of Nintendo's great ad campaigns has got to be the Who Are You ads. They're all extremely well done, feel like genuine short films, and go against your expectations. Pretty much all the characteristics that need to go into a great memorable ad. And these ads extended past just commercials as print ads were also being done, still retaining the coolness and thought that went into the commercials. Are they weird? That's honestly up to you. Are they ambiguous? Sure. But are they memorable? Absolutely. I love these ads, and I wish that Nintendo brought it back at one point for some kind of nostalgic twist. Oh, and don't even get me started on those ads with the mascot costumes. Oh my god, they're so stupid, I love them. Oh, look at it! Look at it, it's so adorable! Oh my god! They have such a fun vibe to them, and they do a really good job at representing their respective properties, even if they're doing something totally out of character like beating the crap out of each other, or playing soccer. But my absolute favorite Nintendo ad of all time has got to be the original Paper Mario ad.
Help! Help! Mario's back in a new adventure. He has new friends with special abilities. He has new enemies with funky attacks. But will he save the princess?
Help!
Find out in Paper Mario. Rated E for everyone.
Like, what else could you want? It's got the energy, it's got the hook, it's got a really funny visual, it's got a goat. Now, we've seen some ads do their best to advertise something terrible, and some that do their best to advertise something good, but now let's move on to ads that do an awful job at advertising something actually good.
Yeah! It's a nut you can play with outside!
PSP. It's like a nut you can play with outside.
They convinced me. I'm sold. I'm sold! I need to get a PSP now. But you know, I'd much rather be talking about Mighty Number 9, because that's funny. Yeah! Mighty Number 9. Everybody knows about Mighty Number 9, right? Hey, Jake.
Yeah?
Do you know what Mighty Number 9 is?
No.
For those of you who don't know, Mighty Number 9 was a game meant to be sort of a spiritual successor to Mega Man, and had a pretty promising Kickstarter, all things considered. However, problems began to rise as the game kept on getting delayed again and again and again and again, and the game not even releasing on the 3DS and Vita as it was promised to in the end. And all the criticism towards the game was more or less justified once the first trailer was released. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with this trailer at first, one specific line managed to set the entire internet on fire.
And make the bad guys cry like an anime fan on prom night.
And when the game was released, it was bad. And you want to know what else was bad? The Ouya! Yeah, everybody knows about the Ouya, right? Jake blocked me from his contact list, so I can't call him again. The Ouya was an absolute dumpster fire, and I'm sure that there's a million other videos out there that go in depth on just how bad it really was. But from my understanding, the Ouya was essentially just a brick with the specs of an iPhone 4, featuring a library with mostly erotic games and stuff you'd find in the trenches on the Google Play Store. It was a total failure and stopped getting support not too long after the release. But despite the fact that the signs of how terrible the Ouya would be were there from the very start, the company behind the system thought that they could convince their consumers into purchasing an Ouya because of... I don't know, its coolness, I don't know.
$60? This game sucks! Oh, God!
I think that this is just an unreleased episode of Super Jail. And no, I'm not trying to be funny, this is legitimately the exact same art style. They didn't even try. What are my thoughts on the ad itself? That's a crappy ad! Okay. I'm currently 16 years old as of recording this. When I was around 7 years old, Splatoon was coming out, and I was super excited for it. However, I was absolutely never excited to be watching any form of television during its release window, because every single week, multiple times a day, I had to listen to
You're a kid now! You're a squid now! You're a kid! You're a squid! You're a kid! You're a squid! You're a kid now! Splatoon!
I like this ad. Well, there you have it. Just a bunch of random ads that I thought were funny. I'm sorry that this video was kind of all over the place, but I don't know how else I would have done it. We're talking about 15 to 30 second ads, for God's sake. There's not much to talk about here. If you know about some weird commercials or ads in paper that you think I should cover, leave your suggestions in the comments below. I might make a part 2, so stay tuned, everybody. Jesus Christ!